Who am I? I'm the greatest. Who am I? I'm getting paid. Who am I? I'm so flagrant. Who am I? I'm the greatest. Who am I? I'm getting paid. Who am I? I'm so flagrant.
What's going on, guys? This is Boss Rowe here with your reading for your month of August. It's going to be a singles reading. I'm going to start with the What's New Tarot deck. I'm going to later on transition to the Hard Truth. And then, of course, we're going to go into some Tarot and then also get some more clarity with the Life Happens Oracle deck as well. So let's get started. If you like this reading, please like, share, subscribe for me. Thank you so much. And let's just see what's going on with the What's New Oracle deck here. What's in your energy, singles? Let's see. So we got the Lost card here. We got two cards. So we got Snack and we got Key Player. Get two more cards here. Oh, let's see. So we got Dirty Money and SOS. Okay. I'll get one more card. I'm curious. Let's see. So we got Turned. Okay. And then one more came out, Supersize Me. All right, let's get started with your reading. Let's see here. So we got the Lost card here. So that's the ghosted, cowardice, disappearing at. So you could have somebody that's in your environment that's sort of like with ghost on you, okay? They had this attraction for you, but they just don't really know how to go about cultivating a relationship, okay? They had this whole obsession with you as far as looking at you like, you know, the physical attraction, okay? You're a snack in their eyes. So, of course, it's all on a physical type of level. But as far as something that's like looking to cultivate into something serious, you guys were looking at it like, okay, no, this is not something that I would sort of invest in, okay? This person could have been in and out of your life, you know, basically could have been a great time when it came down to like, you know, going out for dinner, just going out for little dates. But like, you know, you just sort of saw that was just on a physical type of level, okay? They wanted more of a relationship with you, but you guys sort of saw this person as far as like, you know, having that 1 foot in, 1 foot out the door type of perspective, and you're just not a key player in their situation. Okay, you're not trying to be that, you know, the girlfriend or boyfriend in a situation where you're like, okay, well, my needs are not being met. Okay, so we got like I said, the important person. They want you to be that important person, but you see that this person has a lot of issues going on. Okay, this person could be dealing with a lot of things underneath the table. Okay, you got Dirty Money that came out here. You guys could have known about it or could have not known about it, but like this person really goes into the shadows when they realize that you're sort of getting close to figuring them out. Okay, you know, when it comes down to like, you know, having fun and you know, just really being the life of the party, they love that energy, but it's always on that surface level. And since you guys can probably sort of pick up on that energy and seeing that something's not really adding up, okay, you're seeing that this person, like I said, is a whole big level of you know, just that veneer of falsehood, you know, that veneer of falsehood. And like I said, you know, a lot of things that are done in their pathway are just not really clean. And even like I said, you know, when it comes down to like, you know, interacting with other people in their environment, it's always this shady type of energy. Okay, they could reach back out to you, especially during Mercury retrograde right now, that SOS sign, that with this whole distress, urgency, like, oh, I really want to make things work with you. I think that, you know, we can sort of like, you know, have another chance with each other, but this person's ways have not changed. Okay, Turn. Party animal, drugs, alcohol, surface pleasures. Okay, that's just really what is coming up to the table, guys. It's like this person here has very carnal type of energy. Okay, they love the drug, sex, and rock and roll, even if it's not really being shown to you. I have a funny feeling that this person really only shows you just what they want to see. Okay, but you guys could have saw a lot of things like online, especially when they went ghost, because a lot of them, like I said, you know, with their lifestyle, they could have been going back in and out with you know, drinking, drugs. And like I said, when they're around you, they know they can't really have that same type of lifestyle or energy. So they're pulling back in a way where they're trying to save face. But this is what the reason why they sort of like, wing ghosts or don't really want to have that much of an interaction, because they know over time, okay, you guys are going to see it. Okay. You guys are really, like I said, this person really has you on a pedestal as far as like, looking at you like, okay, wow, this person is really of a high value type of stance in my life. But they just know that it's just like it's not going to really progress because they have like a whole lot of demons that they had to deal with, with healing, and they're not really going about that process, guys. Like I said, this is great that they had you in this mindset as far as like, being that person, and they really sexually you do it for this person, okay? Mentally you do it. When I look at the key player, okay, that's someone that you can't live without, because that person has a good layout of the land as far as how to navigate their life, how to be present when it comes down to being like a good girlfriend, a great boyfriend, a great wife, a great husband. That person knows how to like go about the proper direction when it comes down to investing, okay? And like I said, you got that having that great energy as well, as far as like being that visual eye candy for this person. They just don't know how to handle it, okay? Because they have a hedonistic type of lifestyle, okay? Doing too much, indulgence, okay? Supersize, okay? This person has the energy where it's like, they're all about that carnal pleasure, okay? And you guys are just probably right now looking at how much of this interaction is just going to be like a waste of time for you later on. And as the time goes forward, with them coming back in your life, it could be like, okay, like a moment of like, oh, wow, this person's fun, but it's never going to really progress in a heavy type of way, because you're going to see a whole lot of mess going on behind the scenes. And that's something that you just don't want to really deal with, don't really want to handle, because like I said, when you have that person that's just only looking out for their pleasure, okay, pretty soon it's going to wind up affecting you, okay? They have you on this pedestal. I think you guys are aware that you're on the pedestal with this person. But at the end of the day, it's like, that like if you sort of go further down this rabbit hole with this person, it's just going to wind up, like I said, putting damage on you in that interaction as well. Okay, let's go into hard truths. Okay, let's see this person's hard truth with you. Okay. Let's see here. Oh, okay. Got two cards that came out. Let's see. Lack of commitment, hesitation, and half-hearted efforts, and limiting your success. Find a path you can fully commit to and jump in with both feet for increased success. So this person, like I said before, lack of commitment, that ghosted energy. Okay, we just said that, half-hearted type of energy. Like I said, when they're like, the fun guy, fun girl type of deal. But at the end of the day, that's not going to last long in a relationship. And I think you guys already know that. Okay, with Mercury retrograde coming in right now, we're still in the process of that right now. This could be like an ex that you dealt with in the past, or like I said, someone that you dated briefly and they're trying to sort of rekindle, but you already know that they just don't have the right type of connection or the lack of commitment to really pursue any further. Okay, and like I said, it's cool for a fun, like, okay, we're going to the game, or we're going out shopping, or whatever you guys are doing for a fun type of thing, or going to the art gallery. But at the end of the day, it's just not going to be something that's going to live long with you. Okay, it's just like I said, this person is like a great, I would put this in a mindset like, okay, they're the appetizer when it comes to dating. Okay, it's not the main course. You're not going to get feel off of the interaction. It's just like an appetizer type of surface type of interaction. Okay, then we have misread signs, misinterpreting signals and wandering off course. Reevaluate to follow the path of natural flow. So I think that this person really, just they're in a space where they saw your kindness and they sort of thought that, okay, well, you know what, with me reaching back out to, the collective, you guys could be like, okay, well, hey, how you doing? I hope all is well. Okay. But like, you're still like, I know how your personality is. Okay. I know that you're hedonistic. Okay. I know that you're not going to really invest in our relationship in a proper type of way. And I'm not going to put all my effort and energy as far as like trying to rekindle. Okay. You being nice and being cordial. Okay. Has them thinking that there's going to be hope in the situation, but you guys already know. And I think you're going to have this person, sit this person down and let them know that, hey, you know what? Hey, I hope all is well. It seems like you got a lot going on, but you guys are not just reacting towards, energy where you already see from the get-go that it's not going to be something that's going to be long lasting. Okay. You have no love lost, but you're like, you're not my person. Okay, and that's just how you feel. You're like, you're not my person. Okay, you may put me on a pedestal. Okay, glad that you think I'm a snack, but hey, you're not my person as far as what I want to put my time and energy towards. Okay, let's go into your energy a little bit. Okay, so let's just move this here. I'm gonna go into the Life Happens Oracle deck. Just to get some more clarity here. All right, let's see. We got masculine energy. We got happiness. All right. Glow up. Let's see here. It's your time. Needy. Okay, one more card. Awakening. Okay. And then we also have anger management. Okay. So you have this masculine energy coming in your direction. Okay. Like I said, you guys could be looking for someone who embodies stable masculine energy, or you guys could be masculine energy yourself, where you're like, okay, you know what? I have my happiness in check. Okay. You guys are going towards your own self-discovery. Okay, you already went through your glow up. Okay, so I think you guys really went through an emotional glow up where you understand how people are operating, you understand your own sense of happiness as well. Okay, so this type of person is not going to have you out of shape. Okay, this ghosty energy, they're thinking like, okay, well, probably people in the past, they came back and this was like, okay, well, they reacted towards, being negative towards this person. You guys look at this person as far as being kind of sad. They're like, okay, well, this is kind of upsetting, like at the end of the day, for you to be in this type of mindset where you're not really taking care of yourself on an emotional level and also on a physical level as well. Like I said before, we had like I said, the party animal card and the drug card came out. Okay, you're like, I feel sort of bad for you. I feel kind of bad for you. Okay, because it's you're looking at the situation where it's like, okay, this time this is like this person's coming into you as far as like in a needy direction. Okay, they're like, okay, it's your time now. I think when you're realizing that, it's like this person has a lot of codependent energy. Okay, with this person being in a situation as far as like that in and out behavior, it's like they go into this sort of like this ancient attachment type of interaction with you. Okay, it goes from being like that hot and cold perspective, and then now that they're seeing that you're not phased by their energy being like here or gone, okay, they want to like attach to you because they're really curious and really, like I said, they're kind of like creeped out. They're like, well, why am I not getting the same type of reaction? Okay, okay, this is the person that I need. Okay, because they're thinking in their head like, okay, well, I could do my behavior, and this person is just not emotionally affected. They're looking at you. They're like, you're not emotionally affected in the situation. Okay. And you're like, no, it has nothing to do with me not being emotionally affected. I'm just not going to put my emotions on someone that's not a worthy investment. Okay. Because you guys already had an awakening towards the situation. Okay. You guys had that mental clarity. You guys had that emotional clarity as well. And you're not going to put yourself in a space where you're having this anger management going off on an individual that you're not going to invest your time with. Okay, you don't see them as like a person that they're worth your time of day. Okay, and this could have them in an upset type of mindset. Okay, and I think you guys are just gonna hit that block button and keep it moving because you're like, look, listen, I know what I'm looking for. Okay, some of you guys feel like, I know what I am. Okay, so I'm not gonna put myself in a space where I'm trying to settle for someone who's gonna misuse my energy or misuse my stability. Okay, emotional stability, financial stability, just because, like I said, they're looking for someone to really cater to them in this wounded child perspective. You guys are no longer playing that role. Okay, if you did play that role briefly, you're no longer doing that anymore. I think you guys, like I said, went through a big major change with healing, and I believe this energy really affected you guys. Probably, like I said, like it could have been like way in your past. Okay, way in your past, and you played that that nurturing helping hand for this person. You're like, I'm no longer playing that role. It's just not healthy. It has you upset. Okay, you already know, like I said, you guys could have had a lot of major falling outs with this individual back and forth, and you're just not in that place to really reinvest in that situation. Okay, let's get a little bit more clarity with the tarot deck here, and we'll go from there. Let's see here. Let's see. Got the Hermit card here. Got the Ten of Swords and the Six of Wands. Okay, let's get go. Let's pull. Okay, Nine of Cups and the Empress. Okay, good way to end this. Let's see. So the Hermit card. You guys are just in that space. Okay, you're like, you're conserving your energy. You're not in a space where you're looking to attach to people that just are no longer like, a part of your day-to-day, and you're not really trying to attach yourself to someone who doesn't really fit your inner world, okay? Because I think you guys are very content, okay? Very content. You're in a space where you're trying to nurture yourself in your home environment, and this person sees that. They could see you on social media as well, okay? They could be trying to like text you and try to form that type of connection that was like, that fun type of interaction that they had with you before, okay? And they're not getting that same type of response that they're looking for, okay? You guys, like I said, you being cordial, saying like, hey, how you doing? But that didn't change your mindset, saying like, I'm not dealing with you at all, Like I said, this person could have been asking questions like, okay, well, you single? Do you want to go out for dinner? You want to rekindle? And you sort of gave them a blunt interaction. You're like, no, I'm no longer doing that. I'm in that Six of Wands. I'm keeping my options open, okay? And you're not one of the options, okay? That's what you're doing. You're getting on your high horse here, moving on to the next direction, because you're not wasting your time in someone's energy that's not going to give you like a proper investment, okay? Because you're happy being single. Okay, you're happy being single. Okay, you got your emotional balance. Okay, you got your financial balance, and you're like, I'm not gonna ruin my happiness making sure that someone who is over the top, had no personal boundaries for themselves. Okay, and I'm feeding a monster here or whatever. You're no longer feeding the monster. Okay, you're happy. You can do bad all by yourself. Okay, that's why we have the Empress that came out here. That's that self-assurance. You guys are emotionally healed, and you're seeing this person that's a big major risk, because guess what? That SOS came out. Okay, this person's gonna always have you in that SOS type of stance, and you're finally seeing for yourself like, I'm not gonna put myself in a situation where I'm gonna always have that that mothering bond to this person or whatever. I'm not their parent. Okay, could say like that father energy where it's like, okay, I gotta make sure that everything's okay. You're not trying to have those bonds with someone who's toxic. Okay, you keep them at a distance. So let's get some ending messages. I want to pull from, let's see here, the clarifying life situations. I want to see some encouraging messages. At the bottom of the deck, you got the King of Swords. You guys ain't playing. You're going to tell this person off, okay? That sword energy, you're definitely not going to have this person in, that up and down, like, okay, what if we can, what if we can't type of situation. You're going to let them know. You're going to let them know, okay? It's going to be a hard little conversation. Like I said, that Ten of Swords came out, okay? They're not going to want to hear it, but they're going to definitely hear about it. So let's end your reading with these messages here. All right. So we have saving grace, forgiving yourself and others healing. Forgiving yourself and others heal. The wound sets you free. Okay. So you guys are already like in a place as far as like, forgiving yourself from going through this situation. Okay. And this person needs to go about their own healing journey. Okay. And really dive deep into what causes them to be in this chaotic type of energy, okay? Because at the end of the day, they can't just keep coming back and forth in people's lives, okay? And I think that they made this like a sense of like norm or normality, okay? You're no longer gonna be in that space where you're like, okay, you're putting that energy into this person, okay? Once you leave certain situations, there won't be no door opening back up for you, okay? So we have here the feather of hope, grasp the feather of hope. A delicate symbol of upward promise and uplifting future. Okay, you guys are in that uplifting future for yourself. Okay, you had that balance that you're looking to invest in yourself. And like I said, you're coming from a space where you're no longer looking at that past. Okay, saving grace, where you're like, okay, I went through the whole process with grieving for this person or whatever, understanding how they are as as an individual, and I'm in a space where I'm able to do that all by myself. Okay. All right, guys, this is your reading for August for singles. Looking forward to talking to you soon. If you like this reading, please like, share, subscribe. Have a good one, okay?
Who am I? I'm the greatest. Who am I? I'm getting paid. Who am I? I'm so flagrant. Who am I? I'm the greatest. Who am I? I'm getting paid. Who am I? I'm so flagrant.